Good. How are you? I was
Great.
on I was on mute.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, I'm just going to go through a little bit of the in-home today, what that takes, what that looks like. Top producer, what I did for 2020 to go Hall of Fame, and what I still continue to do this day in the home, how I've overcome objections, really primarily what the goal is, to protect the family and help somebody out. So if you have a pen and paper, feel free to jot some stuff down, take notes. Um, obviously all of us have somebody that we have mentoring us or working with us directly. And it's important to be sure to reach out to those people, and make sure that we're getting, we're getting the best possible advice and putting families in the best possible situation. Anytime, especially in the home, when you're in the home for the first 10, 15, 20, 5 appointments, you need to be reaching out to somebody to make sure that you're getting clear advice and sound advice on what their health is, what the bill of health is, and how you can properly place them in some type of policy. Okay.
Yep.
First thing I want to go over today is going to be mindset for everybody. There's 3 things that I really can describe for the mindset, the mission, and then how we close people, and close families and help ensure protection. So when we leave somebody's house, they know that they number one thing is going to be somebody's mindset, right? So getting out of the car, I really just dust everything off. I'm not really concerned about anything else. You're leaving everything at the door, going to see somebody. You don't want somebody else to feel that type of energy. It's terribly negative. You pour it into other people if you have that type of energy. Leave stuff. You got stuff going on at home, family life, business, whatever it is. That person, that family doesn't know what's going on. They just know somebody's coming there to help serve them, to help them out with insurance. So I left everything at the door, and what I'm trying to do is just relate. And I'm looking for a table to sit out, and there's not really much business that goes on at the couch. Never closed much business on the couch or in front of the TV. So I'm asking people, hey, I have a notebook. Let's sit down at the table. Have to open stuff. You'll have your iPad, a briefcase, whatever that you got, your satchel. So find a table, sit down with families, and find a good place to sit. If you can't, roll with the punches, man. If you can't find somewhere to sit, just sit where you can. That being said, when I get to the table is really, really where I close somebody. I like to close somebody within 5 to 7 minutes of being in the home. And what I mean by that is when I'm sitting there, I tell them a little bit about me, very quickly. This is who I am. Here's my license. You need to slide your credentials over. It's very important to make sure that you have your credentials on you. You have a badge. You can get all this at FFL, the FFL store. Get name badge, the cards, all that. So have your license on you. Have your badge or your ID. I slide my license and my ID so they can look at it. Very simple. Just say, hey, here's my ID and here's my license, just so you know I am who I say I am. That's all I say. Let's take a quick gander at it. They take a look at it. It's off the table, and I slide it back over to here. I just take it back. I'm very assumptive in these appointments. So after that, the in-home for me is very smooth. Okay, what I tell people, say, my name is William. Before I dig into the meat and potatoes, I'm just going to share a little bit about myself. And what I say is, hey, I've been in Albuquerque 2 years. I was born in Wheeling, West Virginia. Spent some time in the Army. And I help families in 5 counties here in New Mexico. insurance, mortgage protection, final expenses and burial coverage, fixed indexed annuities on the retirement side. Typically, and you'll have somebody nod, say something like that. That's fine. And what happens from there is I just say, hey, there's typically 3 reasons why a family fills out this. Number 1, you don't have any protection at all. A lot of families I meet with don't. Number 2, you might have a graded policy through work, and that's fine. A lot of people I meet with do. A lot of people have term insurance right now, and they're just looking for additional coverages. And the 3rd reason is you're just trying to leverage a legacy for your. Which one do you fall into? And so you ask those type of empowering questions so that they're ready. They're ready to answer. They have to answer. They're going to fall into one of those 3 categories, which is really important. After that, they acknowledge one of them perfect. Let's just say that they want to. They don't have any coverage at all, and they acknowledge that. All I say is, hey, my job is simple. Just to submit what's called a requested coverage. Okay, and based on that requested coverage, they're going to give us a green light or a red light, and we're going to have to go somewhere else. But let me pause and back up a little bit so I don't run too far. What's really here is going on is what's the mission behind all of this? What I'm trying to do is get all the objections out of the way up front. I don't want anybody to run into what I'm doing and why I'm trying to do it and why I'm there. It's really a doctor organization for me in the home. Like, you filled this out, and I'm here, right? I'm not really an insurance agent when I walk in. I want to be able to help somebody out, right? Problem solve, find a solution for somebody. That's why we're there, so we walk out and help somebody. There's thousands of people every single day looking for coverage, and it's our job to make sure that does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
So there, what I say is, back to the request of coverage. This is very similar. This is very much the close for me. It's very simple. So what we're going to do today, Bob, is just submit what's called a request of coverage, because I do operate carrier, and ensure some type of protection today for you and your family. But what that request of coverage is your name, your date of birth, your phone number, your street address, your email address, sometimes your doctor's information, your social to verify you are who you say you are. It also consists of some health questions, personal questions, your beneficiary's information. You can put kind of contingent if you'd like, as well as your checking your value, just to ensure protection today. And then I just ask, hey, are you okay with that? Are you good with that? And they acknowledge it and say yes. Very rarely do I have somebody say no to me. It's that simple. But what happens is all the objections are clear. And I just say, perfect. Okay, there's 2 things that come into play for me. These are super important. Is your bill of health and your budget. Once you have a bill of health out of the way, the only objection that's ever going to give is, hey, I need to think about it. Always the budget. And that's, once you get the bill of health, you get a clean bill of health. I'm going to assume that they're going to try and qualify for the best protection that we have based on what their health is. So I'm going to always try and put them into some type of Americo product because it's an instant. I'm going to try and put them into that as quickly as possible. And so from there, I just ask for their ID and their medications, and then it's off to the races. I have the app open, my financial inventory, and the only objection that you get is the funds. And what I really perfected in this business was the fact that I had to, I didn't want to have, as far as what I said, I didn't want to have somebody put me in a position where they say no, because sustainability for life insurance is one of the most important things that you can have when you have a policy. They got to be able to sustain it through the refrigerator going out. They have to be able to sustain it for birthdays, Christmas, whatever pops up. There's a million things that I could go through that we've all gone through in life. But it's sustainability. Make sure you're budget conscious. And when I did that, what I started doing was going through everybody's one bill at a time. And what that did was, number one, it gave them a ballpark. Actually, you'd be surprised how many people actually have no idea what's budget. I realized that, number one. And number two, money people actually had left over. I was able to pay funds from insurance, from whatever they thought they had left over into insurance. That's all we're doing is allocating funds, finding a little bit of money that they can apply to insurance, just to make sure that they have something for their family. So after I have that discretionary income, I write out 2 different options, sometimes 3. Once I have their discretionary income, at the bottom, it's going to give them an opportunity to see what their budget is and then see what qualifies. So what I do is I slide the numbers over to based on your discretionary income. Which one of these options makes the most? And if they pick it, you can use different terms that I use in the home. Hey, what I say to people, say, Bob, like insurance, Bentley gets the job done just as well as the VW. I can always start lower, and then we can come back and add something. Does anybody have any questions up to here? Tom, you got any questions?
No.
Very clear. Understand everything?
Yeah.
Perfect. So it's very clear. You're doing a lot at once. So in the beginning, this is why it's important to get in front of more people. Be consistent with 3 things. I'm going to hit these 2. It's not really a part of the in-home presentation, but if you're dialing leads, buying leads, and getting in front of more people, that type of attitude and that activity is always going to put you back in front of people. Outside of that, you're going to get better at this, being in front of more people, getting more uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable that I got in this business, the better that I got. I got more comfortable with being in home, being with families, learning how to work my computer, my iPad, while engaging in conversation with family. And it needs to be very clear, guys, in the beginning of the business. I'm not trying to talk to people much. I want them to know that I'm there for them to help out and protect them. But a lot of people are trying to do small talk and be friends, and all of a sudden you're 45 minutes into an appointment. Betty's wondering why I'm there. And then you want banking information and social, and now you just lost an hour of time and you're an hour behind your next appointment. So that type of scheduling and getting all that out up front, clearing the table, clearing the objections, know that you're there and you're there to help them. Does that make sense, Tom?
Yep, all good.
Okay, yeah. So from there,
I don't know if you remember, I have some insurance sales background, so I have done some in-home. It just hasn't been. It's been a while, and it hasn't been. I was selling insurance when I was in between positions, so
so good refresher.
Yeah. No, matter of fact, I had one of the things that I would try to do to, like what you said, you try to hit the objections before they become objections. One of the things that I would say is, as we're talking about what we're going to be doing, is I would say, the insurance business is highly, highly regulated. And this is why I'm going to show you my credentials, because I'm going to be asking some information from you. And, I have to follow certain rules, and I have to have licenses, and I have to have, the training for anti-money laundering and all of that. And because I'm going to be asking you questions, these are going to be sensitive, and you need to know that I've gone through an extensive FBI background check, so that you know that the information that you're going to be passing on to me is secure.
It gives good credibility, 100%. Thanks, Tom, for sharing. And so the close is really right there when it happens. Once they agree to submitting the request of coverage, which is primarily just an insurance application, I'll get you guys in school base. That's the requested coverage. Once that's agreed upon, they're closed. The only objections you're going to have, even if you have that, is the budget. And I eliminated that. I didn't want to deal with people saying no to me. I wanted to ensure, hey, you're not going to be able to tell me no. There's no reason. It's weird if you tell me no. If you spend $15 today, we're going to submit a request to coverage to make sure you get some insurance. And I think it's huge for what we do here. Moving forward with that, if you gather some basic information, guys, we gather a ton of information as insurance producers. And that's all I started getting good at. I just wanted to gather information in the home. Who's picking up, instead of asking who's your beneficiary, I started asking who's picking up the pieces around you. You know, when you're gone, Bob, who's going to be picking up the pieces here? Betty, are you going to be living here if something happens to Bob? But the way that I got good at being in the home and being consistent was challenging people and challenging families during those spots and those tight in-home. Right. So in the beginning, you ask permission to challenge. And the way that you do that is just to ask permission, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent today. I ask permission to be honest with you and Nancy today. And that opens up the table, that opens up the floodgates to make sure that you can challenge people at the right time. If somebody says, hey, they got to think about it. Bob, there's really nothing you got to think about it, man. You're 65 years old. Think about this for the last 35 years. Let's get additional coverage in place. Let's see if we can get you qualified. Very assumptive. And I'm always assumptive in regard to helping somebody, because you don't know somebody's bill of health. They might tell you one thing and mean another thing. It's not where we want to be. Make sure you're getting a clear line. Not only are they doing underwriting, the insurance company is, but you're doing your own writing. Your own underwriting as well as a producer. Trying not to put them into a product that's going to waste their time. Mike, can you mute out, but
within the past couple of weeks, we've had
and so that's what's really really great to have. The financial inventory sheets, Tom, have you been able to print those out? Everybody else, there should be some.
I actually I have my computer here, so I have the FFL agentguide.com download, so I have it here. So I'm going to print this up after.
Great, print those out. Anybody else get with your upline, or we can tag you in Facebook on the pages. There's a PDF. It's super simple to print out. This is going to be a guide, guys. This is a huge tool. I used it at the beginning. If I lost track when people were trying to talk to me, you're gathering information in their name, their date of birth, their street address. You're gathering all this information. You're putting it down on paper, right? So you know what somebody looks like on paper, so that you can properly place them. Does anybody have any questions right now? Nothing. After that close, guys, that's 5 to 7 minutes in the home. I'm not talking to people a whole lot. Once that's done, that close, that 7 minute that 7 minute marker, then I'll ease up and I'll talk to people about what they're doing. In the Army, when I was in the Army, they had a term called slow, smooth, fast, and that means that I'm able to perform at a certain level, right? And I perfected that level, and everybody can, but you got to get in front of people. You can perform at that level at a certain speed. And I was able to do that over time, and anybody can, as long as you're in front of the right amount of each and every day, each and every dial day. 500 minimum dial days. Any more in the business book, 30 appointments a week. You get in front of 15 people, you'll close 7. Those are the numbers. Those are a lot of the numbers, and anything short of that, I mean, people are running 40, 50 appointments now a week. Some people 30, some people 25, but that golden rule is still going to be 30 full time with FFL. It's 30 appointments. But after that, guys, I leave them with some pamphlets. I leave my card. I have a card that I leave with them. But it's that simple. That's what I do inside the home. Does anybody have any questions at all?
So when you're putting together when you're asking the medical questions, do you ask the medical questions and answer that on while you have the app open, or are you just asking some of the general questions once you have the general questions answered, you kind of figure out which carrier you want to go to, then you go and open up? Or do you ever, have two apps open at the same time?
I've done all of that. To be honest with you, Tom, I've done all of it. But generally speaking, I like to get a clean bill of health on paper in front of me. They're like high blood pressure. Oh, I had a stroke, 5 years ago, or I had cancer 10 years ago. You'll run into all of it. I'm sure you already have. And so I like to get that out up front because I'll know where I'll be going. I know where I'm going to be going. To make sure those, and if they're on oxygen, you know where we're going with that. We're going with the air. And if somebody's on oxygen, you can't do anything but guarantee that there's nothing else. Great Western or AIG. That's it. Primarily AIG. That's where we're going. Yeah. So yes, I'm asking that, and then I'll refresh it because inside the application, the general questions on our worksheets are like cancer, stroke, heart attack. Then it dives into like diabetes. Hey, do you have neuropathy? They get a little more in depth. So I ask twice. And sometimes somebody's like, well, I'm on this medication. Well, hey, what's that? What are you taking that for? Why are you on gabapentin? Is that because of nerve damage from diabetes? Is that because of your neuropathy? Is that nerve pain from a back injury? Whatever the case might be. But lisinopril, losartan, metoprolol, carvedilol, there's a million different ways that people are on high blood pressure medications. But the reason is because we want to make sure we're putting them into a product. You go through that whole entire thing. Number one, everybody's kind of frustrated, there's tensions building, and you just need to get out of the home, just to eliminate that type of stress in the home. Does that kind of answer your question, Tom?
Yeah.
Good. Eric, go ahead.
Well, I didn't know if anyone has had a question. The other question I had in the downloads, I wanted to make sure that there was either some type of cheat sheet. Whereas if someone does say, "Oh yeah, I have,"
I'll send that over, Tom. I'll send that over to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you in a PDF form.
Perfect. Because I'm not sure what time you get up in the morning since I'm East Coast time.
I'm up early, man. I'm up
okay.
early.
Yeah. So, if I have a 9 o'clock, I mean, I know a lot of people get up early anyways, but if I have a, 9 o'clock in the morning appointment, that could be pretty early for some people on the West Coast.
So it's okay, man. The FFL home office is open 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night. So there's always going to be people on there, and then you can reach out to, you have Steven and I in that group message. Okay.
Sounds good.
We'll be up early, man.
All right.
No worries. Eric, Jarrell, why? You guys got any questions? Nothing from there? Not right now. Okay, awesome. Guys, I think being in this business, in this industry now for a while, serve people, be humble. People don't want to be sold. They're looking to get protection for their family. They filled out a form, man, for a lead for us. We call it a lead. It's a form, man. People are looking for hope. They're looking for help, hope and help. They're worried about their families. The world's shaky right now. Do your best to help people out and serve. That's what we do here. That's why Sean built the company, get out and serve and help people. That's what I'm into this industry as well. It gives me an opportunity to serve and help families out. Guys, that's all I got in the beginning.
So I
Go
got
ahead,
a
Tom.
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
when is the next convention?
The next annual convention will be next February 23.
Next, oh, okay. So I wasn't sure what the time frame was on that. So if it was coming up, I wanted to make sure I.
Yeah, once some images are made up, you'll see it all over Facebook and all over social media, and we'll shoot all that information out to you, Tom. But any type of meetings or business meetings in your general area, I'll make sure that I get that information out to you. You're more than welcome to join and link up with people, link arms, talk and mark, network, whatever you need to do.
Well, I saw that there was an office in Strongsville, which is a suburb here in Cleveland.
Sure.
But I don't know, if that's just do they actually have people there? Is that somebody's, another team that they use it, or how that actually works?
I'm sure they do. Just find out if they're on work spots, and once you link up the work spots, you're more than welcome to go into that office if you need an office to utilize. In that case, if you need an office that you need to go in to get your own space to work, call it out. Link up, get into an office. Now, I know there's a couple people here that I have that's it's great energy to have, bounce ideas off of people. Won't feel like you're so lonely, but you're not, man. That's why we got FFL home office. The ability to reach out. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. Tom, I'll be talking to you soon, and keep up the good work. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send that over to you.
Shoot when you get a chance.
Sounds good, bud.
All right. See ya. Bye.